Hello everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay. So we'll be waiting for 2-3 more minutes. Till the time everyone joins the meeting. Okay. And then we can go ahead and start the session. Cool. We'll start in next week. At sharp 10:85 we'll start the session. Let me post on my LinkedIn as well about the session. Okay. Awesome. So let me go ahead and share my screen first. Let me set up my VS Code here so that I can explain you guys everything. So yesterday we have discussed pretty much everything about basics of JavaScript, but we still need to discuss some of the important topics of JavaScript so that it will be easy for us to uh, create a project out of it. So as I told you yesterday, will be creating our first JavaScript project today, and let's see how it goes. I'm super excited right now. Uh, so let's see how it goes, and uh, I'll try my best to make it simple. JavaScript, it's not that easy that you can learn it in a day or two, but I'll try my best to put these things in super simple way so that you can at least understand, and you can expect that much of understanding from this session that you can create a basic counter app or something like that after this particular session. Okay, so let's start the session now. uh, all right, I'll share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to you. Okay, so now if I open this, so this is our browser, and if we inspect, you remember from last session, everything we do will be like every JavaScript we write, we'll be able to see the outputs and stuff in the console because I have attached a script.js file here in the browser. If you see script.js file, if you go into that file, you'll be able to see the screen. So whatever JavaScript we write, you'll be able to see that in this particular output console of the browser. Okay. All right. So we'll get started now, and yeah, let's begin. Okay, so you can see there are data types, variables, and scopes, operators. We have already discussed what are data types. Data types are the things that determines the type of the data that we are storing in a particular variable. You can see there are primitive type of data types. That means the data types who have there's just one value inside them, like string, number, boolean, undefined, null. We have discussed yesterday. These are the primitive type of data types which has only one value. Then there are non-primitive type that are objects and arrays we discussed yesterday. Arrays are also a type of object with fixed keys, that those keys are called indexes in normal terms. Then what we discussed after that was about variables and scopes, right? What are variables? There are three types of variables, and let, and const. They three have that their own different properties, and they have their own specific use cases in the JavaScript. Then we discussed about arithmetic operations. We have addition, subtraction, and stuff like that that we can do on the JavaScript variables and whatever we write on that. Then there are comparison operators that are used for conditionals and stuff in JavaScript. Logical operators are also used for conditionals. If you want to check that, okay, this is also true and this is also true, then and only then do the certain tasks. So this is how we can determine the logic and write conditionals, and based on that we can execute a function and stuff. All right. Then next we have yeah, if else. We have the last thing we discussed yesterday was if else. So if else was the last topic of yesterday, and I ended up the session. So also, no, we also discussed about loops and stuff yesterday, that how loops works and what are the types of loops. And there are three basic type of loops that every programming language has. In similar way, we also have three loops. Those are for loop, while loop, and do while loop. What is for loop? For loop is a simple basic loop that every language has, where we use I, or you could be use just an I variable to loop onto a certain array or object, whatever you have. And then we discussed about while. What is while? While is also a kind of loop where we check the condition first. If the condition is true, then we do perform a certain task, and then again it goes into the same loop until the condition turns false. And then we discussed about do while loop. Do while loop is little different from while loop, as we discussed yesterday, that we in do while loop we perform the task and then we check the conditionals. So if you come across any any situation where you need to check the conditional after performing a certain action, or after doing a certain task or running a certain function, you can use do while loop in that case. So every type of loop has their own use cases that will come across in your development journey in near future. Okay, so today we'll be discussing about functions. What are functions? How we can use the function, how can we write the function, what are the types of function and stuff. Okay, so let's start the session and let's see how the session goes today. Okay, all right. So uh functions, right? So there are so then we can define what are functions. First of all, functions are a scope, or you can say are something that are used to perform a certain task. Okay, suppose I want to, if suppose I'm creating a calculator. Okay, so if I want to do addition of two numbers, so I'll write a function for that, right? What function will do? I'll write an addition function to perform an action that is adding two numbers and giving me the output result of adding after adding the two, right? So functions are something that are if I tell you a very generic definition, it's nothing but it does something. Okay, so whenever someone asks you like that what is function, you can just tell them that function is something which is used to perform a certain task or certain action, certain operation. Let's say if you want to perform addition, you can create a function. If you want to do subtraction, you can create a function. So what I mean is, uh, if you think of function as a tool which will be helpful for you to perform a certain operation, then you can correlate with this definition. Once you are very good to go with writing functions in JavaScript. For now, just understand are something which are used to perform some action. Okay, so coming to ways of writing function, the first way of writing function is this. Okay, so the first way is you just write function, then you can write the name of the function. I can write it anything. I can write addition, or I can write add, or addition. I can write division, anything I can write. So if I say, let's say I want to load a data, so I can write it load data. So this is what, this is the operation that I want to perform. So naming convention of the function also depends on what type of actions you are performing with the help of that function. Okay, it would be a really good practice to name the function in a way that that indicates what this function will do and what type of output we can expect from this. So if you see in the screen, what I'm doing is yeah I'll be loading the data, right? So loading data is what? Loading data is the thing that I'm expecting from this particular function. If I run this function, I will be getting the data which I require from this function. Okay, so naming convention of any function should be important for us because it shows that what type of what this function will do if I run this function. Okay, for now I'll write it what uh, let's say addition, or let's say add is the function. If I run this function, it will do something. What is something? I'll explain you later. So this is the first way of writing function, and this way of writing function is called function declaration. Okay, second is function expression. What is function expression? It does the similar thing, but what we are doing here is we are assigning that function to a particular variable a. If I want to call a function here, I just call that particular variable a, and it will call the function for us. Okay, so here whatever the function returns, it will be stored in a. So what is return and what is calling, what is invoking, and everything I'll be discussing right now in few seconds. Okay, this is the second way of writing the function. Okay, I'm teaching you a very basics of how to write function. There are other type of function, like there are anonymous function we do that don't have names, and there are like a lot of things in JavaScript. But for now, just I'm teaching you basics so that you can use them and it will be helpful for you to create some projects and get hands on JavaScript. Okay, so third type of function is arrow function. How can we write arrow functions? If you see, just a second, my bad. If you see here, this is a very unique and clean way that in which we can write arrow function, and it is a part of ES6. What is ES6? ES6 is just ECMA. It's called ECMA script 6, which comes up with a bunch of features which are been added on the JavaScript. Okay, it is a kind of standard that we have. So there are ES6, there is ES7. So just like the versions of let's say chat gpt, we have version 1, version 2, version 3, right? We have windows 11, 12, 13, 14, right? So on with every upgrade they add some functionality and feature. Similar way in JavaScript also, in ES6 we got some good amount of functionalities which are used across all the JavaScript frameworks and all, and they are super useful and super helpful in today's world right now. And that's why ES6 is very famous and stuff. So there are template literals and destructuring and everything there in ES6. So the this way of writing function is also is called arrow function, and I will be using arrow functions in the entire boot camp now. Like we are left with today's the last day of the boot camp, but still I'm telling whatever project we create today will be using arrow functions because I feel like it's the most cleanest way, and I'm very comfortable with writing arrow functions. Okay, so this is the way we can write arrow functions. I hope every okay, nice. This is the way we can write arrow functions. Okay, cool. Now what's next? Okay, what are arguments and parameters in function? Okay, so if you see, this is the function. Okay, let me use this expression. How can we write the same thing in this expression? I want to write this. I can write a comma b and console.log a plus b. What's happening here? You can see that a add is what? Add is the function name. Okay, here also you can see add fun is the function name. Okay, so if you see in this parenthesis, you can see there is something called parameter. If you hover your mouse, if you see, let me zoom in little bit. If you see here, it is something called parameter. What is parameter? So whatever input value we give in the function, we have to give like this with the help of parameters. What parameter does is it helps us to get access of whatever value we add while invoking them. Okay, now just for now, remember the whatever variables we add in the function, uh, whose access we want in the function so that we can perform a certain task, are called parameters. And if you know okay, now just for now, just understand this much. Now next term is invoking a function. How can we invoke a function? Okay, there is a similar word we can use is calling a function. So invoking and calling a function are the same things. They are just used two different words and does the same thing. What is meaning of calling a function? Calling a function means that I want output of that particular uh, function. Okay, so if you see what this function does, if you see, let me delete this. So I'm just sharing you how we can write it. If you see what this function does is, what it will do, it will take two variables, two parameters or variables, and it will console log the addition of those two variables. Okay, console log is just a printing them on the JavaScript console that you can see. Okay, it's just that. So now you need to understand what is calling the function. So whenever I call a certain function, it will perform the task which is written in that particular uh, block of the function, okay, or scope of the function. So what I'm trying to tell is, whenever I invoke this function, that is whenever I call this function, I have to give two variables. Why? Because you can see that this function needs two variables to perform the task which is written into that. What task it has? It has task to add two parameters or two variables which it will take from the function parameters, and then they have to add them and console log them on the console, JavaScript console that you can see on the left hand side, right? So I have to give, let's say, 3 and 5. If I do this and if I save this, okay, add is already there or something. If I do this and save this, 139, yeah, you can see this has printed 8. Let me zoom this in. If you see, that is print of 8. Who did this? Function did this. How? Because we told the function, we have written a function in such a way that, okay, you have to add these two values and you have to console log them in the console. Every function has a certain task to do. That's why its name is function. Okay, what is function of our eyes? Our eyes function is to see, right? What is function of our nose function is to take the air inside. It has multiple function, right? It has to smell also, they have to take breath also, they have to intake oxygen also they have to exhale and give the carbon dioxide outside also, right? There are multiple function of this particular element for us. So every function has a certain task to do. here also we have to write a function and they'll perform certain tasks for us. I hope this is clear for us, right, till now. Okay, awesome. Now this is how we invoke the function. This is what, this is calling or invoking a function. Okay, this is how we call or invoke a function. Next is returning a value. Okay, what is returning a value in this? If I, let's say if I copy this and clear this out, and if I do this, and instead of logging this in, what I'll do is I will return this. Okay, now if I save this, you will see nothing in the console, because what it is doing is it is performing a certain task, but, or I can add here also uh some, my bad. So what it is doing is it is returning a value. What does that mean? Wait, something went wrong here. Yeah. So whenever someone tells you, the function is returning something, it will store that in the function itself. Okay, what does that mean now? So if suppose I console.log add here, then it will print 8 for me. Okay, my bad. I'm not storing this anywhere, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So what it did was it just give me console log the entire function itself. So for that, what I can do is, suppose in the case of when we write function like this, like addition. Okay, if we write like this and there is a and b, and then if we write like this and then we return something, written what, a plus b. Okay, sorry. If we do like this, the console.log addition, do this, let's see what happens. Ideally it should return me the value. Okay, I'm not invoking this, let me invoke this here. Okay, my bad. It will return me this. It should return me this. It will print function for me. Yeah, you can see if you print this, it will just return the function for me. They're similar to this. So whenever okay, whenever someone asks you what return does, is the first thing it does is it just helps us to come out of that particular variable. Okay, what does that mean? What particular function? So functions are used to come out of that. So let's say I perform certain things like console console.log before return, and if I do this, have you seen this, like it the color of this is little different than this. It shows that this won't be called, because whenever you write return in any function, it will exit that function and it will return the value. Okay, so if, let's say I let uh, addition equals to add. Okay, let's say I call this function here, and if I console log addition, it should give me, okay, it is. Also we can assign addition to, like we can assign functions to a variable, so that whatever value we return from a particular function, we can give that returned value to a variable. Here, as you can see, I've written the value of this particular function, which is a plus b, to this particular variable. And now if I console log this, it will give me 8, because function is coming out with certain variable, so coming out with certain value, which is the addition of two number. So return is used to exit a particular function with some value, which is what we were expecting from that particular function, because that was the task of that function to do. Task of add function was to return the addition of two value, and that's why it is like this. Okay, so I hope it is clear till now, and let's see what happens next. All right, so this is how we write functions, and how this is how we return value and we do the stuff, right? Now let's see what is DOM. So next topic is DOM for us. The DOM is nothing but document object representation of the HTML. Okay, what does that mean? So DOM is something which is created when you load your HTML in your browser. So your HTML becomes an object which we can use to and that object, that is DOM, we can use in order in performing certain uh, events on that. What do I mean? Like, so in order to, if you want to access your HTML with the help of JavaScript, you use DOM. Like, it is an object now. When you load it on your on your web browser, it becomes an object, that is document object, and then we can easily access the elements of the HTML, and we can do some manipulations, and that is called DOM manipulations, in order to make your UI, or you make your website dynamic in nature. Okay, I will do certain stuff, and you'll understand what I'm trying to tell you. When HTML document is loaded in the browser, it becomes a document object. That's it. This is what DOM is. It's nothing like that, nothing big to think about. It's just an object which is an HTML, so that we can access in order to perform some manipulation over it, so that we can do dynamic things onto that particular HTML element. Okay, now you must have seen that whenever you click a button on Amazon add to cart, it will change its name from add to cart to added to cart. What it did was, it changed that particular node, right? It changed that particular name in that particular element of button. What they do is, whenever someone clicks on that particular button, if the task is performed, it will change the name of it. Okay, the inner text got changed, right? Because the task was to uh, add a particular item in a cart, and that function got completed successfully, and they told that, okay, the task is done, now you can change this text to from add to cart to added to cart, right? So this is how we can manipulate uh, HTML inside the browser with the help of DOM, right? Now next up, I want to tell you that, as I told you, that now HTML inside the browser becomes an object. So let me show you how it becomes the object. So for that, what I will do is, so there are ways of selecting a particular HTML element with the help of DOM. We can do that with certain JavaScript ways. Like, that is a way in the way we that is a document dot something that we perform in order to get some elements which are now an object, so that we can perform certain task on that. So what I mean is, if you want to select the way we select CSS, right? What we do is, we have selectors like class selector, ID selector, and then tag selector, right? In similar way, if you want to select a particular element in HTML, we have there are many ways, but I will be discussing about three important and most used ways of selecting a particular HTML element, so that we can perform manipulations over it. Okay, so these are the three ways we can use JavaScript to select HTML element. So first is get element by ID. With the help of the ID attribute inside the HTML, we can get that particular JavaScript sorry, HTML object that is an element now. If I want to do this, let me show you how we can do this rather than telling you how we do this. Okay, so now if let's say if I make this small, and if I let's say if I add, this is now h1, right? Now if I want to select h1 from here, how can I do that? So what I have to do is, let's say if I name this let me name a variable, let heading. If I want to select this particular heading, how can we write? We can write document dot get element by tag name, right? What we are doing is we are getting that h1, right, by tag name, and then what we'll be doing is we'll be giving that tag name, that is h1. Okay, now if I console log this, you'll be able to see that I was successfully able to uh, I was successfully able to get that particular element. Okay, if you see now in the console, it will appear in some time, I guess. Yeah, if you see now, can you see HTML collection? This is an object, right? If you see, I got this particular element h1, right? I was able to do that. All right, so this is how we can select different type of objects. There are like query selectors, and then I'll be teaching you. Let me see what I'll be teaching you guys today. And all right, yeah, so we were successfully able to do this, right? In this way we can do get element by let me do it, right? So let's say if rather than this, if I give id to this, okay, id of head. Okay, if you want to get this by id, what you will be doing is you just do hash head. If I do this, okay, it should, I might have done something. Okay, I have to write here id, get element by id. If I do this and I perform this, I'll be able to get h1 here again. I must have done some mistake. Okay, my bad. I don't have to write hash. You can write hash when you use query selectors. So now you should get h1. Yeah, can you see? I got h1 here, right? I didn't told JavaScript that what is the object that we are having here, but yeah, this is how you can select that particular heading and do the thing. Now, if you want to get to know that what is written in this particular h1, what you can do is there is an method called inner text. If I do this, it inner text, it should do something. I guess I don't recall much, but okay. My bad. Not ext. If I do dot inner text, okay, I must have done something wrong here. ID should be head. Everything looks fine for me. I don't know what's the issue now. Let me put it on or something. I don't know. Okay, so there must be some issue with this. We will figure out this, but for now, just you just understand that how things are done in JavaScript. You can see we are able to. Okay, Okay, my bad, I did something wrong. But yeah, if you do heading, like once you assign that particular document, like the object to a particular variable, and then you can manipulate that variable the way you want to. Okay, if I do inner HTML like here, so it might not show anything because it doesn't contain any inner HTML in that, right? Whatever it contain is it just the pure uh, just heading, the whatever contact what is it is whatever it is written in that, right? If let's say if I can't add anything here. If I do this as, let's say, div, and if I have an paragraph tag here, paragraph, if I do like this, then it might get me something different, right? You can see it gave me the entire inner HTML here. Whatever was written in that, it gave me, right? So this is how we can, use uh, different methods in order to get a certain value, and then we can manipulate them based on whatever we need, right? All right. So yes, we'll be using this document object, and now you know how we can get a particular uh, you know, HTML element with the help of the document dot get element by ID and class name and stuff, right? So now we'll create. Okay, now we'll understand what are events in JavaScript, and then I'll be helping you create your first JavaScript project that is. Nothing but just a counter application where you can increment a number and then you can decrement the number as well. All right, so I don't want to do anything fancy right now because this is just a basic boot camp, so that I can't teach you anything heavy right now because it won't make sense for you guys right now. So yes, so if you want to see that what other operation you can perform, you can go here and check it out, whatever you want to perform. So if I want to let's say if that is a familiar way, if I do heading the children, let's say what it does, it will do something right for me. It gave me the paragraph tag. Okay, if I do inner text, don't know it will work or not. No, it didn't work, but because I have to assign that to a certain. Okay, any which ways you might have understood, like we can perform operation, different type of operations once we get that particular element by ID, by tag name, or by class name. Okay, all right. Now let's see what are events in JavaScript. So you might have performed uh, you know yeah, we already did, right? If I make the as by by tag name, put it here, a div. Let's see what happens now. It gave me a collection which contains a div. It has length of 2 and stuff. All right, cool. Let's focus on next topic. So next topic is JavaScript events. So what are events in JavaScript? Events are nothing, are just the actions that you perform on your web browser. So you must have seen, like whenever you click something, something happens. That is an on click event that is triggered when you click something. Okay, so JavaScript understand that what user wants to do, and based on if suppose I'm creating a button and I want to do, like, if someone clicks on this particular button, it should do something. It should change the text. It should color from red to white. It should open a model for me. It should you know uh, anything. It could be anything, right? So whatever actions you want to perform in JavaScript, we have an event which is triggered after you perform an action. If you change something in the input box, on if you add that on change event, that okay, if the input gets changed to this, you must have seen, like when you log in onto some website, and when you write confirm password, right, it is show it continuously shows that your password is not matching with the password that you have written, right? And when it matches, it just turns that color to green, and it shows that yes, your password that you've written and the correct password, that is the second column that you've written, both are similar in nature. So there, what we have done is we just trigger that on change event, so that JavaScript knows that okay, I have to take this value from correct, and then I have to match it and tell that okay, whatever you're writing is correct. I know it's so much overwhelming right now, whatever I'm telling you right now, but just understand that whatever actions you perform on the UI, there is a trigger which a developer puts if they want to change something dynamically on the web application. All right. So there are on load, on submit. There are multiple different types of events that are there in the JavaScript. Okay, we can't go through all the events, but for now just understand that what these events are. I'll show you how we can trigger events and stuff in a minute. Okay, now let me let me go to there are two ways to call a particular event on a particular element. Okay, so if let's say you can see here, I've written an h1 tag. Okay, if I zoom out little, if you see here, I've written an h1 tag which shows that when someone clicks on this dot inner html, that means it is talking about whatever that particular object contains. This is a keyword, and which is like which needs an explanation of 3 to 4 hours or something. If you are a newbie, it might take more time to understand this keyword and what it denotes and stuff. But yeah, for now just understand that this means what when we write this into a particular element, we're talking about this uh, object. For us, every element is now object for us because we are living in DOM world right now. Okay, as I told, HTML is now converted into an object so that we can perform manipulations on that, right? So yeah, so what I want right now is, if I click on this, the inner text should change from click on the text to oops, or let me say, if I click me, if I write here click me, okay, it should be I someone someone clicked me, right? So if I go here and if I click on this particular HTML element, it will change the inner text. How this happen? Because I triggered a particular event on a particular action of the user. Okay, now you might things get clear in your head that what happens when someone does something, and if we have a event corresponding to that particular action, we can perform some manipulations and change something on the UI. All right, as I've written here, once it is done, it is done. We can't change now because we have already performed action here. So like click, there is something called double click, and there are different type of actions that are there. We won't be covering everything right now, but I just want you to learn the basics of it, and then we can move ahead here. Okay, so this is the first way how we can write uh, uh, the event listeners, and so this is how we can write. This is the one way of writing an event. If you have something small, you can write in this way. If you want to perform something big, I'll show you how you can do that. So for that, what you have to do is, let me just copy this and paste here. Okay, let me do the same thing with the help of the second way that I'm talking about. Let me clear this out, and if I, let's say, give id of heading 2. Okay, this is the id that I've given. So as I discussed, I have to give uh, to to a variable so that I can use it later on. It's not necessary, but this is a recommended way of doing this. If I do document dot get element by id, right? It is id. What is the id? It is heading. I have to give heading 2. So this is how you write. And now in order to write it in the second way, we have something called event listeners in JavaScript. What are event listeners in JavaScript? I'll show you. So event listeners are nothing but are something which listens our actions and performs a certain task. Okay, what is the syntax of event listeners? If I paste it here, you can see what it does is it takes a type of event which we want to perform, and then it listens to a particular function which should run when we perform a certain task. Okay, so I'll show you how we can use it here. I'll just copy this, and yeah, if you see, what I'll do is on which element we want to perform, we have already selected that element, right? I'll put heading to dot. Now I have to listen an event on this particular element, so I'll write add event listener, right? What I want to perform, I want to perform click operation, right? And then what I have to do is I have to write a function here, and then what I can do is I just have to write what action should be taken. So as you see, what we have done here is it should change the inner HTML, right? Inner HTML. So if you what I have to do is here dot inner HTML should be equal to click by event listener. Okay. Now if I click on this, you see I was able to do this with the help of event listener. So this is a very simple way. Let me zoom it a little bit that you can see this. Event listeners should be performed on element, so that you just need to understand the hierarchy in which this everything is happening. So first step, if you want to do something dynamic on your website, first thing is you need to select an HTML element on which you need to perform a task. Okay, so let me show you how you can do it. First is, you want to do something dynamic on your website, first is select the element, select the HTML element. Okay, first, this is the first step. Let me write it first. Second step is to add an event listener on that element. Add event listener on that selected HTML element. Okay, now next step is what? And you have to write a function, which will be called on event trigger. Okay, and that's it. So these are three basic things that you should remember. First is selecting a particular HTML, then adding an event listener to perform certain task, and then you have to write a function which will help us to perform that particular task. Okay, if you don't want to write a function in this way, you can write it outside also. What I mean is, if I write like here, and I just have to name this as change text. So name of this function is change text. Okay, what I have to do is I just have to put this change text here, so that event listener will understand that, okay, whenever someone does this, what is function work of event listener? It will listen the event and just trigger a function. That's it. Okay. So if you see here, the results are same, right? Because I clicked on that, and it what it did on under the hood is, uh, I clicked event listener, listen the event, then the event got triggered, and it triggered a function. And here we don't have to call a function. Okay, just remember, we can't call it here because event listener does it for us. Okay, if I refresh this, okay, let me refresh this. Okay, not able to change now, but we can't, you should not use in this way. You can't call it the function here. You just have to, if you do it like this, it will call it before clicking that. So you have to wait till the user performs that particular task, which is written as an event, uh, to be performed on that particular action that you take. Okay, so these are the basics of, yeah, these are the basics of how we can listen a particular event and do a certain task. Okay, so let's create a counter application which is similar to this, so that we can increment and decrement a particular number which is in that counter. Okay, so let me clear out everything right now. So let's clear out everything. Okay, we don't need console now. So if I do, okay, now let me write, what, how can we write? I'm not focusing more on styling and stuff, but just for now I'll just write increment. Okay, then I'll write some, let's say, paragraph tag or division, whatever you want to write. You can write it, write button. Okay, and here you can write decrement. Oh, what's happening, I don't know why it's triggering this. I just don't know. uh all right. Okay, for some reason it's not going from here. Let me reopen this tab. Okay, awesome. All right, so now if I, okay, I have to do something for this. Never translate to French. Okay, it went. Now if okay, done. So I, what I'll do is I'll give an ID to this, that is, let's say, count, which will show the count of that particular thing. Okay, so let me just put this little in good way, give it a division, and let me go here, let me select the division, and if I say display flex, it will show like this. And let me give some padding to this, 18 pixel, so that, yeah, awesome. Now you can see that right now the count is 0. Okay, so what we will be doing here is, on increment will perform some action, it will change it to +1. Decrement, it will be reducing it to -1. Okay, now let's clear this everything. Here also let's give IDs to this id as inc or here ID as DEC. So the first thing we need to select the element, right? If you want to select a const increment equals to document dot, you remember how we used to select a particular HTML? You just have to write document dot uh, get element by ID. Right now it's not animation, get element by ID, yeah. All you have to do it is now inc uh, oh my bad, I just by mistake, yeah, yeah. If you see here, the first task was to select the element, second is to listen an event, and third is to perform a task with the help of the function. Okay, all right. Now next thing is we have to select three different things here. First is increment, second is count, and I'll write count here, and then that is DEC, that is decrement. Okay, so we have selected all three HTML element. Now we can trigger them, and you can do manipulate the way we want to. Okay, all right. So what we want is whenever someone clicks on increment, it should increase the value of that. Okay, what is this? I can, let me put this as input, put and type as number. Okay, uh, okay, so this will can cause clashes, so let's make it this only. All right, so now what should we do? We have done with the selection, the first part is done. Okay, so let me put it here. First part was to select them, second is to add event listeners, right? Let me add event listener now. So what I want to do is on increment, let me add an event listener that, okay, when someone clicks on, I have to write an event, right? Click. When someone clicks on increment, what should happen? It should run a function called increment, or I let's say inc increment number. Okay, so functional name of the function is increment number, and let me write that function here. So I'll write the function in simple way now. I don't want to use fat arrow right now, else it will confuse you. Function, right? Now, if I do this, and let's say, let's just check first whether it's working or not. Whether whatever event listeners we have, written here, are they working or not? For that, you have to check, right, that event listener is working or not. Let me just write a simple function of console log that increment is working. Okay, if I go here and if I open the console, let's see if I click on increment. Okay, it console log the value, right? What we have trying to console log, increment is working. You can see it console logged for us, right? So whatever event we are trying to run, it is working. But we don't want to do this, right? What we want to do is we want to change the inner HTML, or you can say inner text of p tag. So what we'll be doing here is, what you want is this, right? You can use count here, and then you can set inner HTML. Okay, let's try to access this particular inner HTML, sorry, inner text of count. Okay, let's console log this, not HTML, inner text. Okay, if you see here right now, if I click here, it should give me 0, right? So we were able to access that particular thing, right? But we don't want to access, we want to increment it to 1, right? So what we'll do is, let's say, let's give an variable name output, and what we'll do is we'll give, so the problem here is, if you see, whenever we write inner text, whether it is a number, it could be anything inside a particular element, it will be fetched as string only. But whenever we increment, we can't increment a string. Okay, so we have to convert that thing into a number first. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if let's say I want to check the type of this, if I do this, you can see it will show me string. Yeah, because we have, whatever we fetch, it always gives us in string, because this is how the document object is made in such a way that whatever text or whatever value it is in there between two elements will be a string. So if, okay, let me do something that will help you to understand you more. Let's say there is an output, and what we want to do is output should be equal to uh, count inner HTML, whatever it is. If I do plus 1, okay, and now if I do, let's say, uh, count dot inner HTML equals to output. If I do this, let's see what happens. It just added it rather than incrementing it. What it did was, it counted string, a number as a string, and then it just concatenated it with it. So this is a complex thing in JavaScript, that even you can add a string with a number, but it won't show any error. That's why we use TypeScript to differentiate particular data types and stuff. But we won't go into the details right now. So for now, just understand, whenever you fetch something, it will be in the string, and if you want to add or perform some additional and those type of operations, you need to convert that string into a number first, and then you can perform the task. So what I mean is, if I do parse int here, so parse int will basically change your uh, string into a number. So if I do increment here, it will increase by 1. If you see, it will it is increasing now, like anything, because what I did was, I converted that string into a number. Now with the help of this particular function, you can this is given by JavaScript itself, to convert a string into a number, and then you can use it and you can do the task whatever you want. All right, I hope things are clear in your head. If not, I'll be teaching you the next thing is what we'll be discussing about, decrementing a number. So what we'll do is, we'll just copy paste this, or let me write it for you guys. So now we are done with okay, this was the third thing that we discussed. Okay, now if you see, if you want to perform any DOM manipulation in JavaScript, first thing, you need to select an element with the help of the selectors that we have. Second is, you need to add an event listener. Whatever event you want to trigger, you can trigger it with the help of that event listener. Then you have to write a function which will be called when that particular event happens. Okay, now let's do this again with the help of again the same thing we'll be doing, just to give a repeat to this decrement dot. What we are doing, we are just adding an event listener here. Okay, uh, okay, now what you have to do is, you just let's remove the console log for now, we don't need that. Okay, yeah, so in event listener, what we need to do, let me remove this event listener, we need to give an event first, event. Okay, sorry, we have to add click here. Click is the event that we want to trigger. What function? Let me write a decrement function. Okay, it will call a decrement function which we haven't created yet. So let's just function decrement function. Let's create the function. What we'll be doing is we'll be doing the same things. Let output equals to parse int. What it will do, it will convert a string into a number. Let's say count dot inner text -1. If I save this, and then what we need to do is count dot inner text, sorry, inner HTML or inner text also you can write it. Use this text here, and here also inner text equals to what? The output that you written here. Okay. So now if I perform increment, it will increase. If I perform decrement, it will decrease. Okay, so it was super simple application, and which is, this is a basics of DOM manipulation that you will learn. What we are doing is we are listening an event, click event, right? So similarly, you can create multiple different type of projects where you use these kind of things. Okay, so there, let me show you one more thing now. So there is, let's say there is an event. I want to perform one more. I want to listen one more event on increment button, or let's say, yeah, or let's say I want to change the color of this when it increases. When it increases the count of 10. Okay, so what I'll do is I want to perform action on count, right? So what I'll do is count dot add an event listener. As always, what we want is it should change the color, right? So on change we can do it, or we don't have to do it here. It will be done. uh, we don't have to add an event listener because it will be done by that any which ways. So we are not listening any event. It's just if we increase it, it will run a conditional and stuff. We are not listening anything there. There is one more event that is, let me show you something else. Increment dot add an event listener. Let's say on hover. That should be, let's see how many events we have, what we can use. uh Multiple type of this. On mouse over. Okay, on mouse over, what I want to do is, let's see what we can do. Let me write it here only, write the function here only. uh let's change the color of this. Okay, so how we can change the color? Okay, so for that I have to call this dot style dot color, or let's say background color. Sorry, background color equals to, let's say, black. So whenever it should be like, so can you see this? What I've done is I've listened an event that, okay, whenever someone moves mouse over this, its color should be changed to this. All right, let's see this again. Let me refresh this. You see, but why didn't, it's not an hover that we use in CSS. It's something different than that. Similarly, it is performing its action, but this is just an event that got triggered with the help of this. Okay, this was a simple and basic application of how events work on JavaScript. Let's create a small project again so things get clear in your mind, and let's then wrap up for this. Okay, so in order to create that, let me uh, let's say h4, then a division. Okay, let me give a class here. Class is let me put this here, and div dot food item. Okay, then that is a food item. Name of the food item is let's say pasta. Okay, there is a food item called pasta that we have. Then let me give this as a menu. So we are creating a menu with pasta, food, like food item. Let's create one more food item here. Okay, for now I'm just giving uh, inline style so that we can do the stuff fast. Okay, display flex, write flex direction column. It will be here like this. Then in food item also, let me remove the padding and shit and stuff here. Okay, so yes, all right. And let's do one thing. Let us here also, let's give some style. This display flex. For now, I'm just for the sake of completing this fast, I'm just writing inline CSS. But whenever you create a project, it is recommended you to do this. You have to use classes, and you have to look this better in terms of uh, the HTML document. The flex. Do this. Okay, it got there. Right now, why it's showing like this? We don't have any padding and stuff right now. I don't know why this increment buttons are so big. Okay, let me close this and open this again. It shouldn't be like this is what I feel. There is something. Okay, something is wrong with this p, but I have removed them. I don't know, it could be anything. Anyways, uh let me give style this to this also. I guess this will also turn like this once I do the flex. Here food item also I have to do the flex. Yeah, you can see, let me give a border to this so that I can make this look border a 5 pixel uh blue. Okay, let me give little this one blue. Okay, now some padding I can give here, some padding, let's say 10 pixel. Okay, it's looking little good. Yeah, now what should we do now? Okay, now they should be center aligned. So flex sorry, justify content center, and let's align them also in center. Okay, I want this to be separated out. So what I'll do is I'll give some margin here. Don't want, okay, I want margin in 20 pixel, and let's say 2 pixel. Okay, same goes with same margin, I'll give it here also. Okay, all right, margin is done. Now let's see what is next. This still looks like little ugly, but uh, let me try to fix it if I can. How can I do that? Let me go here and okay, let me give some spacing here also. This also looks so congested. Let me select the button, and I want all buttons to be height of all buttons. Let's give some styling here. Button should of height, let's say 20 pixel. Yeah, this looks much better. Okay, and also let's give some font family here so that it doesn't come in Roman. Okay, font family of Arial is good to me. Second one is not pasta, let's keep it as pizza. We have pasta and pizza in the cart, but it's not doing anything. This one is doing because we have added that. Okay, we are using the same things. Now what should we do now? So let's say price of pasta is 100 rupees, and pizza is, let's say, 200 rupees. What we are doing is we are just we'll be making a simple application based on this, so that this still looks little big. Let's make this edge as h6, so that yeah, this looks h6 is still small. Let's make it at h5. Okay, also let's give some width also. No, this is fine, I guess. This looks nice for now. Let's give something. What can we give here? Yeah, we need to align this, right? So we need to fix some alignment. uh, Align items center. Now yeah, it got aligned. Now we have to do the same here as well. Align item center. Oh, my bad. Center. Now if you can see, we have aligned items. Yeah, now what we need to do next? Now we need to add some functionality. Okay, this also looks little ugly, I know. Let us give some padding to this. Style, we don't want horizontal padding, we don't want vertical padding, so we'll add like 0 pixel, and here we can add like 20 pixel would be great. Yeah, yeah, this looks much better, right? I'll do the same here. I'll just copy paste this style from here to here. Yeah, so we are able to do this. So what is the what just this shows is the quantity. 0 is the quantity. So according to the quantity, what we'll do is we'll create a division here which shows us the total, whatever the total we have. Total is is whatever the total is. We'll put that in a span here. You remember why we use span tags? Yeah, if you want to add something inside of something, we use span tags, right? So yeah, so here we'll be giving the total. So according to whatever number we increase, what total price, let's say total price is this. All right. So coming back to the basics. So let's give names now. INC pasta, INC pizza, sorry, pasta here only. And let's give the count of pasta, right? We'll use same here. Uh, Pizza, let me copy pizza here. Let me write only pizza and decrement pizza. Here also we have, what you have to do is you have to write it pasta and pasta. Okay, now what next? we have, let's remove this on hover thing right now. This should be working, I guess. This is not working for some reason, because why? It should be working because we have changed everything according to inc dc pasta past. Okay, it is not past, it's pasta. Now it should be working. Okay, it's still not working. We might have done something wrong now again. Pasta count inc increment. Yeah, I don't know, it should be working fine only. Count pasta. Okay, let me just check it where we are going wrong, or let if you are stuck somewhere, you can just open the console and you can understand where things went wrong. Cannot read property add event listener. Okay, why you can't read the property add event listener on line number 58? That is some problem. Okay, it shows that. Okay, I haven't written here. Yeah, now it should be working. Yeah, you can see increment, decrement, everything is working here. So what we have to do is now okay, what we want is, this is select html for pasta. We'll do the similar kind of thing for pizza also. We have to select pizzas also, right? We need three things, right? We need to increment them, so that increment. Okay, for this we'll write pizza, increment pizza. Okay, so normal pizza, and here also pizza. Okay, so this three are selectors for pizza, those are for pasta. What we are doing is, each pasta is of 100 rupees, each pizza is of 200 rupees. If I increment it by 1, the cost added to the price should be 100. And if I increment one pizza, the cost added should be 200, and the total price should be 300. Right? It sounds complex, but it is not, to be honest. But let's see how things work now. Now I have selected pasta, I selected pizza. Next is, you have to add an event listener. So here we are adding similar type of event listeners for increment and decrement. Use same only. Let's do, we just have to change few things and we are good to go. For increment, okay, uh, we can we use the same? Yeah, we can use the same. Yeah, we can use, actually. What we'll do is, let output pizza. We have to just differentiate it. We can use the same function, uh, parse. Okay, let's just copy this, paste here, output p. Here we want count pizza to be the inner text, and then +1, and then we can do, what we can do is, count pizza inner text and output. Similarly, we have to do with decrement. We copy this, use count pizza here. Mm, count pizza, output p. Okay, here also we have to write output p. Also we have to write output p. Okay, so we have added same functionality, like we haven't changed the functions, but it will call the same function. But I hope it should not collide. I am just thinking, okay, we shouldn't do like this, because even if I call one, it will increase both. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, uh these are still pasta. I have to change it to pizza. Change this to pizza. sports of pizza. Okay. If I do see, if I do anything, it is incrementing and decrementing both of them because the same function are called here. Now, how can we change that? Should we use different function, or yeah, we should use different function to be honest. So let's create them. This is the only way we can do it right now. Let's create function increment number for pizza, and then what we have to do is just we have already written the logic. Just copy, cut, and paste, and let's add this here. Same for decrement. Decrement also we have to copy, paste. Click is the event. Let's create a function name. Function name can be increment or a decrement. Function reserve. Okay, so let's do this. Now let's just cut and paste here. Okay, fine. Now what we have done, it should be doing now. It should even if I increment this, it should increment this. When I increment this, decrement this. Okay, decrement is not working. Something went wrong, or I have to refresh this. Add event. Okay, decrement pasta. I have to write. Pizza I have to write here. Okay, something still went wrong. My bad. I must have used something wrong, but it should work now. Yeah. If you see, it is going like increase and decrease, and everything is working fine, right? But now, according to the price, I have to add the total pricing as well, right? So for that, what I have to do is I have to write a function which should take two inputs, right? What are the two inputs? It should take quantity. So what I mean, do I mean by quantity? Okay. So what I want is uh, I want to let me write a function called uh, total total. Okay, let's total price is the function. Okay, total price is the function. It will take two parameters, pizza count, and let's say second is pasta count. Pasta. That's it. Now what? Okay, let's give the price here. Okay, let's say pasta price. Price is what, 100 rupees, right? And let's say pizza price, sorry, pizza price is, let's say, 200 rupees. Now we are creating a function called total price. It will take two inputs, right? One is the pizza count and one is the pasta count. Okay, so don't get confused between pizza and pasta, but I hope you won't, because that you know it better than what I'm teaching right now. But yeah, cool. So let's give a total number. So let's what I want is, what I'll do is uh, I need a total. Okay, total let me give it to a variable called total. Total equals to total. Let me give it a total count, or let's say total price. Price, how can we calculate the price? What I have to do is just pasta price multiplied by, where is multiplied by, pasta count. I have to put this in parentheses, and I have to add that, and then I'll do what I'll do next is price into uh, pizza count. Okay, all right. Let me just console log this and let's see the results. What is the price? Are we printing the correct price or not, or what's happening? Dot log or total price. Yeah, total price, it was right only. Okay, so in order to, first of all, we need to call total price thing inside something, right? So what can we do is, okay, so I need these two parameters, but how can I call them? What I have to do is now I have to put them in what, okay, whenever I call them, I want to store the number of output, right? So here we can use, what we can use is, we can assign this function to a variable which will give me a count, and then I can use that count and I will get the output. What I mean is, what will do increment number will give me, it will give me let's say const pasta count, right? Pasta count equals to this. What increment pizza give me? Const. Okay, it both will give me the same only. I cannot do that way. How can we do that now? Uh, let me I need to take a value from that place to here. Okay, then I have to give it here. I'll simply take values from the inner HTML rather than going from anywhere. So what I mean is, I'll do count dot inner HTML, sorry, inner text. Let me give it that pasta count as this. Then let's give a pizza count here. Pizza count as count pizza inner HTML. Okay, I hope this seems good to me. It should be, and this will give me a string. I have to make sure that it is parse int, and this also I need to put as parse int. Okay, awesome. Now we have everything. All I need to do is console.log. Sorry, not console log. I have to call this function, not function. Like, I have to call total price with uh pasta count. Sorry, let's see, pizza count and pasta count, right? Pizza count and pasta count. Okay, we have added everything. Let's see. What I have to do it now is, I have to open console. Okay, it's not looking good. Let's put it here at the bottom. If I increment them, am I getting anything? No. Increment them. Okay, I have to call them when they are incremented and decremented, right? Okay. All right, this should be called. Whenever I can put it here as well. Account, pasta account, pizza account, pasta account should run every time whenever you perform any action. Okay, let's see what's the result now. So if I console log, if I increment, show undefined only because that's something that I'm missing out on. I cannot you like dynamically increase or decrease or something. Something is going wrong. If let's say let me put those things above these things after this. All right, let's increment showing me undefined because of the reason. Okay, what I have to do now is let me remove this first. Okay, all right. Need output, and console.log. Let's see if we are able to uh, if we are able to console log the pizza account and stuff. It is there. Okay. So what we will do is let us put a button here on which like whenever we click that button, then only then the action will happen because we have to trigger only when things happen, right? All right. Let's do that, and that is the final thing that we can do because this is not React. I cannot do things on real time, so I have to do it this way. So let's do one thing. Uh, let's add a button here, which is let's add a button with total price and button. Let's add a button here. Total. Let's add a button. Name it total. Okay, and what it will do basically is let's give an ID of button total button. We have to add here as well const total button equals to document dot get element by ID. Then uh, give this ID here. Okay, awesome. Now let's add an event listener here as well. Let's add it here. Total button dot add an event listener, which will be triggered on click. What it should trigger? It should trigger this. Have we selected this? Okay, let me give it total price, idea of total price. Okay, now let's see. Total price is 0 right now. I have to add, I have to select this also, right? Const total price equals to document dot get element by ID. The same thing. Select. We have selected this now. Now what we have to do is we have to give you know dot we have to dot inner text equals to price total price function. Let's give this function to this total price function. Awesome. So if I increment this, and if I press this, it's not, nothing is happening. Let's see where is the issue now. Issue is in 103 line, not a number. Okay. Uh, let me check if we are getting the counts or not. Count. So the count HTML should work, right? Alright, anyways, so it takes two variable here. I cannot just call it. Okay. Function test. Okay, I'm just testing out if this is fine or not. If I do total, it is showing not a number. Let's see where we are going wrong. Let's just check is everything fine or not. Pizza count. Pizza count. Let me pizza by 2. Okay, I'm not getting the pizza count itself. It seems. Let me not use this and let me just directly put what is this pasta count, right? Let me put pasta count here like this and a pizza count like this rather than assigning to a variable. Can't do that. Why? Uh, okay. Let me give only one for now. Let's see what happens. I mean, remove this as well. I'm able to give inner text to the count. Okay, we can't do like this, it seems. All right, no worries. Let me. Okay, let me define this two things inside this only. Okay, so now if pasta count here and let's pizza count here. Let's try to console log them at least, right? If I'm able to pizza count increment by 3. Okay, 101. I'm not getting the inner text itself. It seems something I'm going wrong. Something I'm going wrong. Change the pasta to pizza. Uh, which one you're talking about? Let me check if I've done any mistake or increment R's for pizza, and count R for pasta, right? So count is for pasta, increment is for pizza. Let me do this. Second one is for that only, right? Okay. So if I want to see this, I should be able to see, right? It's not going, something is going wrong somewhere. Let me console log everything. If that works, it will work. So total button will be able to trigger this pasta count. Let me do one thing. Inner text. Okay. If we are able to increment, decrement this, that means things are nice, right? Percent increment in a text. Pasta count is this. And if I let that pasta count inside this, and if I console log pasta count, it should work ideally, right? Let's check. If I increase the pasta count by 2, at total, it showed me undefined. Okay, let me console log here. Count. If I let me refresh this. If I increase by 3, okay, I got something. I'm able to get the value here. Pasta count is line number 99. Okay, pasta count I'm able to get here. Okay, let me do one thing then. Let me remove everything from here. Let me remove this function. Let me not complicate this more. Here we are, if we are having access to things here, let's do it here only. What we will be doing here is, let's say total equals to pasta count. Let's give prices here as well, everything inside the function. Okay, pasta count star uh, pasta price plus pizza price star pizza count. Okay, we're getting everything. Now let's see the total. Okay, let's give a random guess here. If I'm incrementing this by 1, it is 100 rupees. Pizza, let's increment by 2, it is 400. The total should be 500. Yeah, we're getting that. Awesome. So I was just complicating it by adding arguments and parameters so that I can explain you, but I might be wrong somewhere. Anyways, it's working now. So what we'll do is total price that we are getting by ID here, right? Let's put that total price equals to total. All right. Awesome, guys. So I guess our application is complete now. If you refresh this, if you increment by like 5, increment 1, if it, okay, okay. Now something went wrong. Okay, my bad. I have to add inner text here. Awesome. So if I refresh this now, and if I increment this by, let's say 3 and 1, if I do this, you can see the output is 500. So this is how we can make things that like there is a lot of logic that you have to think about, that okay, I need this value from this, I need this value from this, I have to do something fusion, I need to add them, I need to do something, and then This is how you learn and this is how you create stuff. So I haven't prepared this before. I just thought like, let me create something like this for you guys, and explain you how things work in JavaScript world. Okay, this is a simple application, but still you can see the complexity here. It's not that easy also, because you have also seen that I struggle a little bit, because after a long time I'm using JavaScript. So in React, things are more simpler, because of states and everything. But here you can see with normal JavaScript also, you have to think about the functions. You have to think about what values you need to fetch from somewhere, and then what values you need to add somewhere, right? So yeah, this is it, and I hope you liked the session. This was it about uh, about about today's session. And as I promised you guys that I will be giving you free resources to learn. uh, I'll be giving you the resources in next 20 seconds. Till now, till then, if you have any questions, queries, or anything you want to ask related to JavaScript, React, or CSS, HTML, or about the bootcamp or anything, you can just put it into comments. I'll be replying to you. Also, I'll share my handles here. I'll share my link tree here. If you want to see, you can follow me over my socials, and also you can uh, these are my socials. Okay, I'm active on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. I have my page. So if you have any questions, queries, you can ping me there. Let me share you the resources. What you have to do is, okay, let me share you the link. Okay, fine. Okay, let me share you my link for the resources. If you want this resources, you can get it for free. You just have to add zero value in the in the charge, in the place where you have to add money. You just add zero, and just you click on I want this, and then you'll be able to let me show you how you can get this resources for free. This is created by me for you guys so that you can have access to this. Okay, I hope you can see the screen now. If you want this resources, what you have to do is, uh, I hope my screen is visible, right? So you just have to add here zero, right? And then you just have to write your email address, whatever your email is, and then whenever you press get, a copy of it will be sent on your email, and also there will be an automatic redirection to the resource folder, so that you can have access to that. Okay, so yeah, this is how you can get the resources. And please, you can drop the comment if you have any uh, if you have any feedbacks to give. If you want to give some reviews, you can surely give me reviews. uh, I'll give as web dev ebook. Just click on the link and add value zero, and just click on get this, and you'll be getting a copy of it on your email. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for joining the session. uh, if you are someone who is attending the sessions from day one, I appreciate your patience. This is the first time I'm doing this. I'll be doing such live session in your future with React Play, or also you can follow me on. I also write threads on Twitter related to web development and stuff. So yep, um, see you guys in the next session if I'm taking, and yeah, have a good day ahead. Bye. End the session.